All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. Got a big 10-game slate on this Monday after a small 3-game slate yesterday that had a lot of slate breaking news pretty much an hour before lock. Probably going to be the same situation again tonight, just with it being a 10-game slate and the fact that we don't have that much injury news just yet. So I think we can prep for the fact that we are going to get a lot of injury news. We'll always start with the injury news, get into the values, get into kind of the ownership and lineup process. If you guys have any questions, make sure to ask them during the live stream. If you guys are in here, make sure to hit that like button. That helps us, helps out the channel, helps out the video, and really pushes it to more people. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it right now. Do just want to remind you guys as well, if you like any of the tools that you see in this video, they are available at the Occupy Fantasy. Links to those are in the description below. Okay. So looking at it right now, we know that Curry is going to be out. Okay. We know that Andrew Wiggins is going to be out, and Jonathan Kuminga is projected to be out as well. So what does that mean for the Golden State Warriors? Well, I personally like Klay Thompson a lot, given his price tag. Okay. Klay, the last few games, we've seen him shoot the ball 22, 25 times. I mean, those are a lot of shot attempts, guys. A lot. In those 3 games, over 40 DK points. Obviously huge there. Given that price point, that seems like a very soft price tag. I also think Dante DiVincenzo is going to be a great play. I believe he's going to start. They could go with Anthony Lamb instead, like in the power forward spot. Probably not. It's probably going to be Dante. So it'd be Poole, maybe Dante, maybe Klay, whatever. And then Green, and then Looney. So if we know that he's going to be starting, we can probably project him to get around 30 minutes. And let's check out the model, see how many minutes he's projected to get. So yeah, 36 minutes. If we're going to get 36 minutes out of Dante, that is going to be huge. He is someone that price point wise makes a lot of sense as a play. Some other injury news that we haven't had, recently that we don't know how to prep for, that might change the slate. Not too much, really. Like we've seen slates with Anthony Davis off the court. We kind of know what to expect. We go LeBron, given the matchup, probably Thomas Bryant. Darius Garland is going to be really the only other injury impacting news that we need to focus on. So let's go ahead and touch on Cleveland. And once again, if there are any questions, I'll be answering those really at the end of each segment. So if you guys have any questions and I haven't gotten to it yet, that's going to be what it is. And then if you guys have questions coming in after the live stream, make sure to go ahead and put those in the comment section. We always try to reply to each comment that's there in the video as well. So with Garland out, well, he's questionable. He's doubtful. Okay. Donovan Mitchell, the cover boy, is a very good GPP play. But I don't know if we can play him in cash. His fantasy point total per 36 with Garland off the court is like 43, I think, on DraftKings, 43 on FanDuel, like 45 on DraftKings. Okay. That's really not great given the price point. But we do see him have these games in which basically he's shooting the ball well. And he really goes off and breaks the slate. 54, 51, 67. Like, it wouldn't be shocking to see him do that, especially given the matchup with Chicago. The issue with that is, like, we just saw him kind of struggle. 7 turnovers, only 32 DK points. But the thing is, let's just say he makes 5 more shot attempts, probably doesn't have as many turnovers. Like, it just seemed like an off game. So let's just assume that the assists, rebounds, probably not the steals will be there, but let's just assume everything else is pretty much there. Like, probably going to get around 45 DK points. A fine play. I think he makes a lot of sense in GPP. It's just not someone I particularly need to go out of my way to play. Now, on the other hand, LeVert is going to be a very strong play, I think, a player that we do want to go out of our way to play. Per 36 with Garland off the court, averages over 30 fantasy points per 36. So really good stuff there. Usage rate is over like 21%. He is going to be kind of the standout play. Once we get into the projected ownership, I'm really curious as to see how people are treating him right now, because I think he's kind of an obvious play. So I'm very interested to see what that looks like. And then Mobley, I believe he's going to play, currently questionable. If he were to sit, then we'd just be looking at Kevin Love as a very strong price point play as well. Seti, a decent play with Garland off the court, probably going to see around 25 minutes. We're hoping for, 15, well, obviously not 15. We're hoping for a floor, 15 DK points, upside to go for 30. It really just depends on how he's shooting, how many minutes he gets. But injury-wise, that's kind of it for like different slate impacting injury news that we haven't seen like prior. So let's go ahead and get into the values. So I'm going to go ahead and check out the FanDuel values here. So Josh Hart really popping up as a FanDuel value. Typically speaking, it's always nice when the pricing pretty much matches up between DraftKings and FanDuel. FanDuel is typically more aggressive with their pricing. So yeah, not a terrible play. It'll be interesting to see if like Gary Payton's back. It'll be interesting to see if he makes any difference for Hart's minutes. So just something to watch for. It is a cheap price tag. Jabari Smith for Houston. Yeah, he's a cheap price tag. Let's see the minutes he's projected to get, 32. Yeah, that'd be interesting play there. Kevon Looney, I think he's going to be a better play on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I don't know if we need to go that route. But he is popping, obviously. Someone that probably will get an increase in minutes, especially if Wiseman is out as well, with Kuminga already out. Let's see. That's probably why he's popping up. Yeah, 27 minutes, which is more than he typically gets. So really depends on Wiseman. If he sits, then yeah, we are looking at Looney as well as a decent play. Let's see here. Dante popping up there. Clay popping up there as expected. So Gordon Hayward to me is extremely interesting, and I'll pull him up here. Because, yes, on paper, a very cheap price tag. On paper, a guy we probably do want to play. Just has not been shooting the ball great lately. Okay. And really, that's what you want, is him to have a good night shooting. Because if he does, could get to 40. And most likely, like 30. So I get it's a great play, probably a game that you want to stack as well, because it's easier to stack. And I don't mind that. Definitely a risky GPP play, but it could work out. Thomas Bryant's a play that I'm going to like on both slates. Pricing is correct. Finally, I believe if I'm remembering correctly, I think FanDuel had him like priced way too high, whereas DraftKings had him priced way too low. And now they have him priced evenly. I believe that was Thomas Bryant. It might have been Anika instead. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the DraftKings value here. So DraftKings value-wise, yes, LeVert is really popping up there. We can see FanDuel, you can't play him. I don't want to say you can't play him. It's more difficult to play him on FanDuel, given the price point, okay? Then Looney, yes. Looney with the $600 price difference, much better play on DraftKings. You could easily play him. There's a lot of center plays that are great plays, I think, on this slate. So that's going to be the difficult part, is I think we are going to be playing two centers. And maybe if they have power forward eligibility, maybe three, So that's the difficult part there. Josh Hart popping up there again. Klay Thompson popping up there again. Isaiah Stewart, $500 cheaper there. The interesting thing with Stewart and even Jalen Duren is that Marvin Bagley is back, and probably going to get around 20 minutes for him. I think he could be a decent GPP flyer. Gordon Hayward again. I do think Royce O'Neal is an okay kind of my typical shoulder shrug play, where if I end up on him to close up my build, I'm fine with it, but not exactly an elite play. My boy Mark Williams popping up there. Let's see how many minutes he's projected to get. 20. If he gets 20 minutes, that's huge. This matchup with the Lakers is really the appealing part, but the upside's there for Mark Williams. Like, not a play that is a lock-in load by any means, but a play that it wouldn't be shocking to see him get 25 DK points at his price tag. And then I do want to point out Thomas Bryant as well. I do like that matchup with Charlotte. Okay, should be able to go out and have a good game. So I just want to look at the index as well. Let's just take a peek at Yahoo out of curiosity. Who's the best Yahoo value? Pat Bev. Minimum price, I'm guessing. Yeah, minimum price. A lot of cheap min price plays. Honestly, guys, that's what I love about Yahoo, is that typically speaking, and this is why I just like to check it out, typically speaking on Yahoo, you can find some players that shouldn't be min price that are easily going to like 2x at their price point, which on Yahoo is pretty solid. So just awesome there. Just something to watch for. If you guys are someone that plays on all those different slates. Like maybe you come in to the video or come into the morning and you're like, all right, where do I want to play today? It's a good way to go about doing that. Just looking at the OF index real quick. Luka popping up there, obviously going against Houston. I think he's going to be a player we're going out of our way to play. Averaging 80 fantasy points per game against them over the last 2 games. Huge. Embiid's interesting with everyone healthy and active. Maxi's back. Melton's back. Harden's going to play. I don't know if he's going to be as consistently putting up those numbers as he has been, so we'll see there. Kyrie is really the first player that looks like a starting point. When you compare like other players around him, we can see the index is saying, better play than Mitchell, Siakam, Harden, like a player that you want to start with. And I would agree with that as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the projected ownerships. Just checking if we have any questions. Remember, if you guys have any questions, make sure to get those in. I'll be happy to answer them at the end of each segment. And as well, if you guys are coming in after the video has went live, if you have any questions that you have, put them in the comment section. We'll be happy to answer those, try to get to those for you guys. All right, so one thing I typically like to do is start just by looking at where people are starting their lineups with. It looks like LeBron is the starting point right now as it sits. Obviously, this changes throughout the day. I feel like I always need to remind people of that. And this is something that I always forget. I need to make a smaller screen for. This should be working now. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so yeah, LeBron, and it makes sense. LeBron, going against Charlotte, a team they just put up 40 fantasy points against, could easily get there. I'm happy to play him, but at the same time, I do think I know Luka's benefited lately from having soft matchups, but he's really taking advantage of it. Lakers, Spurs, Houston twice. Like he's taking advantage of those matchups. 80 DK points against Houston. I thought he would be like 20% owned, honestly, just given how well he's dominated lately. So obviously gets Houston again. Kind of strange. That's like their 3rd game against them in 5 games. I don't know, just weird. Let's just look at projected ownership total. I'm guessing Levert's going to be the highest. All right, he is. Okay, it just makes sense. And then honestly, all these make sense. Levert, Looney, Klay Thompson, like if you're starting out your day research-wise, that's who you're ending up on to start. LeBron still makes sense. Lamb makes sense because probably going to see an increase in minutes. And that's actually something I'm curious about. Let's see Lamb's minutes. $20. So not that many more. He would need to get more than that. And he could, not out of the realm of possibilities there. But, given the price tag, not a terrible play, obviously. Green, if you want to end up on him, you can. I'm fine with that. Jakob Poeltl. This is an interesting play. GPP-wise, makes a lot of sense. Cash, not a good play. With Poeltl, the minutes just weren't there for a good, 2-week stretch there. And his production, his consistency really fell off there. Now the last 2 games have been very productive. Could be a good play. Going back to, we have a lot of great center plays on this slate. He is one of them. So I think I'm going to be playing him in GPP a decent amount. Naz Reid popping up there. I can only guess he's popping up there because Rudy Gobert could sit. And it's just as easy as that. If Rudy Gobert's out, you're playing Naz Reid. It's as simple as that. And if Rudy Gobert sits, Jalen Noel is a decent play as well. So I would assume if Rudy Gobert plays, this is going to go way down. Yeah, Mitchell. So very interesting here. If we see this number tick down to single-digit ownerships, it could be an educated ownership leverage spot. Like that it's not a safe play, but the upside is there to reward you. Maybe goes for 50. Okay. There are other just as good plays, but if we see this number dip down, which I don't think it will, but it could, if it did, I would like that. Paul George, I would say probably should be higher owned. Thomas Bryant is one of those centers that I love in a great spot going against Charlotte. Probably expect that to be higher. Kevin Love. Kevin Love was very chalky. I think it was 3 slates ago, whenever their last game was, with Evan Mobley out. And his price didn't really get corrected. Like, he did go off. The minutes were there for him. So if Mobley is out again, you're just looking at Kevin Love. It's as simple as that. And then Cedi Osman would be a good play as well. Let's go ahead and look at the FanDuel projected ownerships as well. While this is loading, just a current call for myself. If you guys want to follow me on social media, at 9 to 5 Sports. Okay, it's as simple as that. Also, while it's loading, want to remind you guys to be in the Discord chat before lock. Obviously, each slate, there's a lot of slate impacting injury news that comes in. We covered that for you guys in the Discord chat before lock. We got 2 really good guys in there that really keep you up to date. Link to that's in the description below. All right. So looking at this for FanDuel, very spread out to start. So that's interesting. There's no like really starting points here. Everyone is kind of spread out. So let's go ahead and look at projected ownership as a whole. Looney really popping up there. I don't know if he's the play on FanDuel. DraftKings makes sense. I don't know. I would, if that number stays there, I would much rather play like someone like Thomas Bryant at it. Same price tag. There's going to be some other guys I'll show you guys. That would be very interesting to me. Okay, that'd be a great spot, I think, to gain some leverage on the field. Kyle Anderson. Did I miss some Rudy Gobert news? I'm just going to check this out. This might have broke and I missed it. No. Unless this hasn't been updated yet. Let me just check out Kyle Anderson as well. That's just got to be one of those morning things where someone's putting together a bunch of builds and they're populating Kyle Anderson into a lot of their builds, thus really juicing up his projected ownership this morning for something like this. Obviously, throughout the day, more people get their builds in there. The projected ownerships get much more condensed and the averages start to match up a little bit more. That seems strange. That shouldn't be the case. I'm guessing that won't be the case. It could be a situation in which people are having a tough time with the small forwards. That's interesting to me. I don't think that should be the case. Yeah. Anthony Lamb makes sense. TJ Warren, let's see his price tag. Yeah, it's a cheap price tag, both on DraftKings and FanDuel. He's someone that got 31 minutes last game. And if he gets that, like a decent price point play, like I would much rather play TJ Warren at 4.6 than Kyle Anderson at 5.3. Basically the same play. Interesting stuff there. Let's go to page 3 where there's not as much ownerships. Pirtle, a lot more expensive on FanDuel. You could play him there still, I think, but not exactly someone you're going out of your way to play. All right. We got a good feel for it. Let's go ahead and get into the lineup process. So I do want to remind you guys that the point of the lineup process is really to give a feel for that night's slate, okay? To give you guys the proper like lineup construction path, pretty much is what I'm going for. Each slate is different. A lot of people ask, hey, is this a GPP lineup or is this a cash lineup? It really, the morning lineup process is really just a guide as to which the slate is breaking down, how the slate is coming together. Okay, that's really the goal of it. Maybe give you guys the best starting points and then where you can make some differences or different changes in your lineup come lineup block or around lineup block once the values really start to come in, once the injuries start to come in. So I do think like starting point wise, like Luka, I've mentioned him in passing a couple times already today. Against Houston, guys, 81, 82. That is huge. Really went off against them. Okay, so definitely someone I think we want to be trying to play. Now, it is a high price tag. So, maybe not. Don't hit the lock with him. If you guys are someone that does 20 lineups, single entry, I think you need to play him 20 lineups, maybe 50%, 150 lineups, maybe 35%. Like it does differ, but definitely a good play. Definitely someone I'm trying to go out of my way to play. Other guards that I like, let's just see here. Shooting guard wise, really. Hero would be fine if Butler sits. I do think Paul George makes a lot of sense at his price tag. Been a very consistent fantasy producer lately, so a play that I do like there. Let's see who else. just guard wise starting with. Kyrie Irving, yeah. Kyrie Irving, remember looking at the OF index, Kyrie Irving, I'll just point this out again, was someone that was really looking like they should be a starting point, just given where he's priced in comparison to everyone else, really just popping up the most there. And then another one would be like Clay. Just given the price tag, we can easily see that he is kind of mispriced in comparison to the other players around him. And then Josh Hart as well. The model really like Josh Hart. So I'm going to just go ahead and plug in those players, see if we can make that lineup work. Probably not. I probably going to have to click off of Paul George. And guys, as I've played more and more and more DFS throughout the years, the biggest problem I have is like not trusting the data. So I'm trying to be much better about that, especially with examples. Is all right. The data is telling us to do this. Let's just do this. Don't overthink it. Don't get cute with it. Just do what the data is saying. So yeah, I want to put Josh Hart in the small forward just because I know I'm putting Clay in the shooting guard spot. So there we go. Let's see who else is really popping up there. Value wise, let's see. Oh yeah, LeVert, definitely want him, and Looney want him as well. Dante popping up. I don't know if we'll be able to fit Dante in there. So yeah, let's go Looney at the center position. Oh yeah, LeVert. And LeVert's a great play on DraftKings because you can play him at the guard or forward, obviously underpriced. Like that is huge. It's getting tight there. Okay, very tight there. I don't know if we'd be able to make this work. So yeah, I want to play Dante. We're going to find a way to play Dante. Once more value opens up, we can make that. I'm going to take him out for this lineup, okay? Or not Dante. We want to play Luka. But instead, I'm going to put Dante in there, okay? Luka is just a clear play. So Kyrie, point guard, and then I'm going to go Dante. At the guard. That just opens up much more lineup process wise. So I did tease that there are a lot of great center plays, and I want to touch on that first. So if Jimmy Butler sits, Bam is a really just strong play. We just saw him go for 50 DK points last game with him out. Like an easy play there, I would say. From there, like Mason Plumlee gets a great matchup going against the Lakers. Been on a tear recently. The minutes have been there for him. LaMelo Ball, I think, has really been helping him out. Thomas Bryant gets a great matchup against Charlotte, a matchup that he nearly went for a double-double against and then really would have hit value there. We can see, though, 2 out of his last 3 games, huge games, and it really just depends on him getting a double-double and him getting the minutes, okay? So that's the biggest question mark there with Thomas Bryant, but should be a good play. Jakob Poeltl on DraftKings is a huge, stellar GPP play. And I want to make that clear, GPP play. Like, we're not going crazy with it, but I do think we want to be putting in him into a decent amount of our builds on DraftKings. Maybe not FanDuel where he's priced up a little bit too much, but someone we need to try to get some exposure to in GPPs. And then Onyeka I like as well. With Capella still out, the biggest question with him is foul trouble. Can he stay out of foul trouble? If he does, it's not shocking to see him go for 36, 40 DK points. Like that is the biggest question. We have so many great GPP centers that I'm probably going to put a rule in there where I want 2 centers. Okay. They would be Poeltl, Bryant, Plumlee, heck, Sengun, if he's active, always kind of a strong GPP play. And then we already have Looney in there. Like it is kind of loaded. As Mobley sits, we're probably playing Kevin Love then. So a lot of great plays. So I didn't really entertain the idea of Draymond Green too much throughout this video. I just want to pull him up. Yeah, I guess. Like a safe floor play, right? I don't love it. I never enjoy playing Draymond. It just doesn't shoot the ball enough. You're banking on somewhat of random stuff. I guess for now. I don't love it. Then 6.7 left over. pretty strong. Jalen Green, I do want to point out as well, probably going to be under-owned, but I want to call this out. Like 34 last time against Dallas and 41 last time against Dallas. Like that's pretty huge. That is good. If we can get that from him, that's huge. And what's strange about Jalen Green going off is that Kevin Porter has really struggled against them. So 34 and 22. And obviously 34 at 7.7, not particularly ideal. Like we don't love that. Do you think Jamal Murray is going to be a strong GPP play? This slate is loaded with really good GPP plays they lack consistency, like game to game, but the upside is there for them. Whereas like they could easily get 6x, 7x, and it wouldn't be shocking. But at the same time, it wouldn't be shocking to see them put up 20 DK points. Like that is Murray. Probably going to be back, just FYI. Back end of back-to-back, sat out yesterday, so expect him to play. 6.7. I mean, Dinwiddie, let's see what he did against Houston. Yeah, no. I don't love this price point to close out a build. Let's see. And honestly, this is where like a slider like this is pretty clutch. I'm just going to do the salaries down to about that price point range. Who's popping up the most? I already have Josh Hart in there, right? Yep. Okay. Bogdanovich. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. I don't love that. Honestly, I don't. But you know what? Let's go Lamb instead of Green in the power forward spot. Just because I personally think Lamb is going to be a decent value. And then this is something that once news comes out throughout the day, hopefully there's a better small forward / power forward that you could fit in here. Or maybe we get news that he's starting or something like that. It could happen. But if he can get 20 or so minutes, should have a floor of about 15 DK points. Obviously, as the day goes on, we'll find someone better than that. And then with this, we go Donovan Mitchell if we want to. Paul George is a great play. There's lots of things that we can do there. A pretty solid base build, I would say, in this sense, where we're getting some of the top values and feeling pretty good about it. But yes, as the day goes on, we'll be able to tell much better the lineup decisions we'll be able to make. It's a Big Ten game slate. Just want to remind people that there is going to be news that comes out that changes the whole dynamic of the slate. So if no one has any questions here, we got about 21 viewers this morning, which is awesome. And if this is something that you guys want more of as well throughout the NBA season, like more morning live streams, let us know. Because that's something we can do. We're testing it out right now to see if that is something that you guys want. If it is, we can do more of it. So yeah, I think that's it for today's live stream. Not too many questions coming in. Once again, if you guys have any questions throughout the day, as you're watching this video, after it's done being live, put them in the comment section. We'll be happy to answer those for you guys. Do want to remind you guys, all the tools that you saw in this video, available in the links in the description below. If you guys want to check out the Discord chat as well, huge news, before lock, that really helps you navigate the slate. Because sometimes, we get lost in our own thoughts with all the injury news that pops up. It's just good to have other people or one person to specifically bounce the ideas off of, because the consistency is going to be there. So make sure to check that out as well. All right, that's all we have for you guys for this live stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you're still watching this, make sure to give a thumbs up. If you guys are watching this after the live stream, also make sure to hit thumbs up. That just helps out the video be pushed to more people, which obviously helps us with content, which thus helps us be able to put up more information for you guys. So it's a win-win-win. All right.